Hi everyone, how are you today? This is Gerald from Ginger Gerald Stitches, Ginger Gerald Stitcher, and as you can see, I have started a new start. This is Le Bonheur de Dame, or from Le Bonheur de Dame. And I'm not going to be able to get it in there very well. Let's see. There we go, Le Bonheur de Dame. And this is the mushroom sampler. And I am stitching this along with Elena and some other people for a Mushroom Sal. So you can follow us. I'll put the information below. Right now I am working up here in the top. I just started up here in the top corner. And this pattern is a kit, obviously, from France. I just got it in the mail yesterday because I was enabled by Elena and Olivia whenever they showed Elena's Christmas gift from Olivia was this Mushroom Sal. And I remember whenever Elena went to France, to Paris, and she was showing her purchases, and she had considered buying this and she didn't. I was like, oh, I wish she did so I could know where to get it. And luckily she got it for Christmas from Olivia, and Olivia was able to give me the website, which I will also try to find and link below so that you can know where you can get this pattern if you are interested. It always seems like all the patterns that I am interested in come from across the pond in Europe and the UK. So right now I just started the first leaf. This is the leaf above the mushroom, and I will say I like, it's a quality kit. It's a good quality kit. However, there are a couple things that are frustrating just because it says to start in the middle, but there's no way to find the middle. There's no arrows. And whenever you stitch how do I want to say this? The directions are a little confusing. So, because I believe these are supposed to be half stitch leaves. And of course, I've never really done half stitch because most of my projects are full coverage cross stitches. So it took me a while to figure that out. So as you can see, the way I find my start on a pattern is, since I started in the top left-hand corner, I use the stitch starter from Blue Ribbons Designs. I got this as a gift. I believe Caroline just showed this the other week in her video. And I put it up to my pattern. I put a 2-inch margin on this piece. I hope that's enough. It comes with my starter comes with a case. I got this as a gift. It was custom made for me when I was working on my Crowns of the Kingdom. So I put that up there, and then what I usually do is I stitch just with one of my scrap pieces of floss, a marker, so I know where to start. Now, since I have my first stitches in, I can go ahead and snip that off. And since I talked to you guys, so you see what I have done. And that's how I get my start. And I will tell you, the start for me is the most frustrating and anxious, nerve-wracking time of any project for me. I for some reason, I don't like to do starts. So, with that being said, we're going to work a little bit more on this back stitch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right here. This is going to be the border, and it says the back stitch is supposed to be done over 2 stitches. So 1, no, wait a minute. And I will apologize today because I have the sniffles. I woke up that way. I'm not sure if it's just because of the heat running or if it's allergies. I don't know. Now, why is this lining up wrong? 1, 2. That's why. Started in the wrong hole. Okay. Much better. So today has been a very frustrating start to my day, and I don't know why. I woke up and I just have not been motivated to do much of anything today. I have homework today, and I'm wondering if that might be part of it because I'm just not in the mood to get back into the routine of doing homework. It's also exceptionally cold here in the Northeast. I'm checking my directions again just to make sure. Back stitch. Which is it? Oh, see, they're saying I should be doing it over 2 instead of over 4. How do I want to do this? Do I like it that way or not? No, I don't think I do. I think we're going to pull this out. So you guys are going to get to watch me do some trial and error here because I'm not sure. Typically, whenever I do backstitch, I like to do it over were 2 X's, one like a longer stitch. But I think in this case, because of the type of linen this is, I believe this is 28 count, if I counted correctly. I just lost my needle. Where did my needle fly to? I didn't know. I'll have to go find that later. Let's see. Do I have another? This should work. So you can tell my frustration, I don't know, I'm just having a frustrating morning. It's just one of those days that nothing seems to be going the way it should be. It's not for any reason in particular. It's just one of those days, and I know we all have them from time to time. Maybe because I had snow days this week, I don't know. But it's been an interesting week. That looks better, I think. So this is a 28 count linen. I'm guessing it's like in an antique white or cream. Maybe it's an eggshell. I'm not sure. I'm not thrilled about this linen. We'll see how we go. I'm going to have to be extra cautious not to carry my threads far on this one, which might actually be a good exercise for me because I do like to carry my threads. But it seems to be a loose weave, as well as just and it's a very light color, which is something I never do. I usually don't stitch on light colored fabrics. So again, this is all new to me. Let's see. Maybe this will work. So did everyone have a good first week of the new year? Again, mine was very different than I'm used to. I had off for New Year's. We went back to school. Teachers and faculty went back to school on Tuesday for an in-service day because we opened up a brand new building. So we had to go and finish unpacking and get the building ready. We had students on Wednesday, and then Thursday, he was like a hurricane. Winter Storm Grayson came through and dumped about 5 inches on us, but we had really strong winds, and people down at the shore, I guess, in Atlantic City had an actual blizzard condition, where here in the Philly suburbs, we had strong winds, but I don't think it was classified as a blizzard. I have a knot here on the back. And then Friday, the students also had off, but because we opened up our new building, teachers had to go in and finish prepping our classrooms and everything to be ready, and to unpack all the moving crates because we had to have the moving crates removed by the end of day Friday. So it was a busy week for us. And then of course, my coursework started up again for my doctorate. So I've been busy working on homework, or I should say really good procrastination at homework. And that might be another reason why I'm just having one of those mornings, because I have to do homework when I'm done filming. But I wanted to make sure I did my filming first so that I could get it uploaded as soon as possible onto YouTube. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I have been on a little bit of a starting spree lately, and I don't really know why, because I'm not a starter. I don't usually start projects. And again, that's because I get very anxious because I want to make sure that it is in the... I don't know, the fact that I have to line everything up and count, and I would rather just be stitching. So and maybe also because I do larger projects, so I have starts far and few between, and so I don't start all that often. Come on. So last night, while I was watching Caroline's video, I actually made a start. Well, I started before Caroline had her video up, but last night after work, I started my chatelaine. So now I have 2 more big projects going here, with this being the second big start. And I have one more big start I would like to get started this month. We'll see if it happens, because I would also like to get back to Henry soon. So New Year's Day, I had 2 finishes in one day, which was a bit crazy for me. Of course, they were just 2 of the planets, and one was almost done, and the other one was a quick couple hour stitch. So a lot of times, because I have I can get smalls out pretty quickly. People say, wow, you're a fast stitcher. And I know I said this on many other videos, and I say it on my Instagram comments all the time. I am very lucky that I don't have a whole lot of personal obligations outside of school and work. So often when I'm home, I'm stitching. I know Caroline last night in her video said about setting Friday nights aside from 6 p.m. to midnight, wherever you're living, to do like a stitch along or a sit-in. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's what I do every night. So that explains a lot as to why I am such a fast stitcher, is because it's not necessarily that I'm a fast stitcher. I'm just able to devote a lot more time to, and now I'm going out of view. To my stitching projects. And I don't say that to gloat or to boast. It's simply just how I can justify having so much progress on projects, is because firstly, stitching helps me with my migraines. So whenever I have a migraine coming on, often I'll sit down and try to put some stitches in, because it helps me distract myself from the pain of the migraine and focus on something so that I can alleviate a lot of the pain, the pain from the migraine, because right now I don't have any medicine that really helps. And one night, or the night that Winter Storm Grayson came in, they were calling it a bombogenesis, and the definition of a bombogenesis is whenever a storm or a weather pattern, the barometric pressure drops. I'm not sure. I think it's like 24 millibars in a 24-hour, 25 millibars in a 24-hour, 20. I'm not exactly sure the numbers, but when the barometric pressure drops significantly in a 24-hour period, they call it a bombogenesis. And I will say when that weather pattern started moving into our area here in New Jersey, I really felt it with my head, and I was starting to get a migraine at work. And by the time I got home, I was nauseous from the pain, which I've never had before. So it was a pretty significant migraine that night. I didn't even really stitch much. So this mushroom pattern has a green back stitch that goes the entire way around the border of the piece, which may get a little bit annoying at times, but I think that's how far down I want to go right now. So I'm going to tie that off. So another question I had was how do I use a working copy? So this kit comes on, the pattern comes on A4, I believe they're A4 size pages. And here in America, I hardly ever use an A4 paper. So what I do is I will take that A4, and I think it's A4s are much more common in the EU. So because all three of my patterns from the EU, from Europe, use A4 pages. So is that like your standard paper in Europe? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. So what I will do is break it up into pages on my printer and make a working copy that way. So it usually I put it onto 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. And that way it works for me, and then I can highlight or color using colored pencil. Often I like to use colored pencil because that's what is just easy for me to do. There we go. No, I keep putting it in the wrong hole. What the heck? There we go. And again, these are half stitches. So it's a little awkward for me because I'm used to full X's, and I had to actually go to Caroline. I messaged Caroline this morning and I was like, half stitches, you're supposed to use the top leg of the X that you typically have, right? And she said that's what she would do, so that's what I'm doing. But it's awkward because when you start a thread, especially because you can't use the loop method, it's just out of my comfort zone because I have to go a different direction than I'm used to for starting. There we go. So now that I have all of these starts, I'm going to be able to focus on them a lot. Well, see, there I go again. I'm talking and I'm not paying attention and I count wrong. I will really be able to focus on these now in the coming weeks and hopefully get some significant progress. Once you get started, I think, on this mushroom sampler, it doesn't take long at all to stitch. I don't think it's going to take nearly as long as it looks to stitch. Yes, I said that, Elena, so shouldn't take you long at all to stitch this. The challenge for me is going to be, again, not carrying the floss too far on the back of this pattern, or on the back of this fabric. So, I know I'm going to copy off, I'm going to steal some of Caroline's questions from last night, because she posted on the group. Oh, real quick before I get to that, I've had lots of people asking on Instagram about how you can join the Mushroom Sal and like what are the requirements. Listen, people, there's no requirements other than if you stitch a mushroom or something that has a mushroom in it, then you can be a part of the Sal. So, again, I'll have the hashtag for the Sal in the information. It's going to be hashtag XS Mushroom Sal. Very simple. And if you have something that has a mushroom, stitch a mushroom. You do not have to go out and purchase this kit. I did it because I have been eyeing it up for a while now. I just didn't know where to find it. So, of course, I ordered it as soon as I found out. And stitch along with Elena and Olivia and myself. I know Olivia is not doing the full kit. I believe she has one of the smaller one of the mushroom motifs from this pattern, or from this kit. So she's going to be stitching along with that. Mitch Stitch Michelle from Sydney, Australia is going to be doing the same thing because she was gifted one of the mushrooms from Olivia and Elena during Stitchy Christmas. And I think she even started last night. So go ahead, if you have a mushroom, stitch a mushroom. You can post it here on the Facebook group Off the Grid Friday Party. You can post it on Instagram with the hashtag XS Mushroom Sal. And just have fun stitching mushrooms, because we all love mushrooms. At least anyone who's stitching a mushroom loves mushrooms, so. Anyways, so I'm going to answer, because a couple of those questions I thought was really informative last night when Caroline was answering them on her video. So I wanted to go ahead and answer some of them myself. Because why not? You know, they stole my pet peeves conversation, which was awesome. I love that. So I'm going to steal some of these questions. So it said, one of the first questions from Adrian says, and I think that's Caroline's friend, how do you decide what to stitch on? What catches your eye? And this is funny because Caroline was saying about how everything catches her eye. And that's not the case for me. So again, that's interesting how different people are drawn to different things. And that's what I think is great about this community, is that typically the people that I watch the most that are my favorite floss tube creators are the people that I would never stitch what they stitch. Like most of the things that Caroline is stitching right now, I have no interest in ever looking at. Like the tapestry Sal, those tapestry, I forget what they're called, but Letitia's also doing them. They don't catch my eye. I'm drawn to historical pieces, architecture definitely, because I love architecture and skyscrapers, skylines, because again, there's the architecture, and just, I don't know, I like big projects. I guess in a way that's similar to Caroline's answer, but for me, I like the big projects. And that goes back to I don't like starts. I'm more of a process stitcher. I mean, of course I do like the finish. Who doesn't? But I really just like the process and watching it come together, because at the beginning, like right now, this just looks like a bunch of green blobs and a green line. And it's not going to really come together until you get at least the corner part of this project done. So that's why I'm a process stitcher. So again, I like watching everyone's videos, and again, maybe that's because you guys don't really enable me that often. And that's not saying that you don't, it's just that a lot of the pieces are not really my cup of tea. They're not my style. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because then I don't spend as much money. And Craig and Letitia both asked on the feed was, how did you get started in stitching? Who taught you? And then so let's start with that. So I started stitching when I was in, I'm gonna say middle school, I think. My mom was a cross stitcher back then, and she of course no longer does it. But so I learned then, and then I put it away until I was well into my 20s. And I started stitching again in 2010. And that was when I I moved to South Korea for a year. And I worked for about maybe a year and a half stitching, never finished anything. I was working on one big dimensions kit, which I no longer have. And then I lost interest again. And then back in summer of 2015, after my concussion, I wasn't reading anything, and I don't know how I came about. I think I found that kit from what I was working on in Korea. I was like, I would like to start doing this again. And that's how so I pulled it out and I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then I found on Amazon my Old World map kit. And that was a Janlin Old World map. I did that wrong. So from there, I started stitching, and then I looked up YouTube videos and on just how to improve cross stitching, or see if there was anything that I could be doing differently that would improve, to make it better, make it easier. And that's when I fell into the hole of floss tube. And I started watching, and I watched for about 4 months. July, August, September, October. Yeah, about 4 or 5 months. And then I started making my own videos, and it's been I would say it's been almost like an addiction ever since. And then the question goes on to, are there any fiber craft, needle crafts, or general crafty type things you still want to try or learn? And I can say yes to that. I would like to learn how to do the tamari. I saw one of the stitchers at the Midwest Cross Stitchers Retreat in October did them and displayed some, and I fell in love there. And then Caroline talked about them on her video. So, and I think my thing is, though, I might get a little impatient with those, and I'm usually a very patient person, but it seems like it takes a long time before you actually see any substantial results on those, but I could be wrong. But I have not looked into them as of yet. So with that being said, I think I am going to end the video there. I'm going to work on a couple more, maybe one more leaf pattern, and we will see you next week. So have a great stitching weekend. Enjoy all the videos that people are putting out. Make sure you post on the YouTube or on the Instagram, tag Friday off the grid. What is it? Off the grid Friday party, something like that. I'll post it below. And we'll see you next week. Happy stitching.